What's going on, everybody? And thanks for tuning back in to another episode of Florida Prison Talk. And for this one right here, we back in the Florida Department of Corrections, the Florida Women's Reception Center, aka Lowell, the infamous Lowell Correctional Facility. You go in Google, you put in Lowell CI in the search bar, you will see corruption at its finest. They have a group for people that have been through Lowell. That's how bad it is. It's almost like corruption is legal. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, my name is Kiani. I'm from Miami. I was an ex-inmate at Lowell Annex.
All right. So this started off, we're gonna get right into it. What crime led you to Lowell Annex?
Attempted murder with a deadly weapon, aggravated battery, burglary with a deadly weapon.
Okay. Didn't expect that. Okay, so can you speak on that briefly? That seemed like it's really serious. Can you briefly speak on that? You don't got to get into full detail, but what was it over? What happened? Was it over a guy or beef?
It was over my kid's father. Me and the girl, we got into it. She came back with her friend and her stepsister. They jumped me, and then I had my newborn baby with me, and the fight just got crazy. A mother instance.
Gotcha.
Like if you can't go to no tiger and say you want to touch his cubs, and then it's gonna get crazy.
All right, that's a fact. Okay. So I like to I don't always go into the background. A lot of times I don't, but for this particular one, I do want to go into the background. How was your upbringing? You had your mother and father in the house?
My father wasn't in the house, but he was in and out of prison, but when he was around, he was around.
Okay.
My mom, excellent mother, never been arrested, never been in no trouble, good jobs, gave me whatever I asked for.
That's what's up. Okay, so you get sentenced. How much time do they give you for that attempted murder and other stuff you got?
At first I was on probation. I was pregnant. The judge gave me a second chance. She let me out to have my baby after she sentenced me to 2 364s. And I was like, man, I can't have my baby in prison. I can't have my baby in jail. And at first she was just giving me a hard time, basically saying like people have babies in jail every day, not knowing that she talking about prison because I'm in the county jail. So they came with, if you go to trial, you're gonna get 25 years. So they was asking for 12. I went to court, and my judge, she was on my side, but then she wasn't on my side. She knew the type of lifestyle I live. She didn't know me as this fighter and all this and that, because people never put me in jail for fighting them. She knew me as this booster that would come in her courtroom with sticky hands and will write a long letter just as long as my rap sheet to the judge just to get my way back out of jail. So they offered me 12, and then they came down to 5 years.
Okay. Let me back up a little bit. You said boosting. So before the incident with the girls, you had been to jail prior to that?
Yes.
Okay. And with going to jail prior to that, with the incident that happened, you went to jail. When you found out you was going to prison after having that little jail experience, were you still scared?
No, I just didn't. It just didn't register. It didn't hit me because me going to jail, okay, I could bond out. This play to me. I could bond out, or I know when I'm getting out. I ain't too much worried about, nothing. But when they said prison, it's like, is I'm finna be able to bond out of prison, or is I'm finna go up the road and take up a class that's gonna get me knocked down and hurry up and come home? Like 5 years, that's 60 months. That's a lot of days away from your family. It's a lot of days away from your kids. It's a lot of days away from the real world. I had to get accustomed to stuff in prison because I didn't know how it felt to hand wash clothes and then have to repeat it. Like all I knew about was going to the mall, getting a brand new outfit, putting it in the washing machine. But to physically hand wash clothes and have to repeat the same shorts until catalog come, or if somebody going home, they selling their shorts and stuff, I had to go through that stage. It was like a survival moment to me. Like, I know how to survive without nothing doing my time in prison.
Wow, that's what's up. That's okay. So you did all your time at Lowell?
No, I was at FWRC. That's the reception center. I was there for like probably 4 months. Then I went to the annex. Then they, out of the blue moon of me coming back from court, they tell me to pack it up to go to the main unit. And I'm like, the main unit? I don't want to go to the main unit. It's hills up there. I don't want to go over there.
Yeah.
Get to the main unit. I was, when I first came to prison, I went at FWRC. I was up on the investigations for officers. I was up, the girls was laying me down. I was from Miami. They had it in for me. Didn't like the way I talked there. I was very outspoken. And I'm just being real. Me, I'm not gonna talk to an officer to be their friend or none of that. I'm gonna get something out of talking to the officer. So when I would kiki and laugh with the officer, I asked him straight up, you will bring me some Dow? You will bring me some game? You will bring me some bleach? So that was the whole, incident that I had with females, because I got cool with the officers and they would bring me stuff, but it wouldn't be, at FWRC, it wasn't no cigarettes. I ain't had that type of plug. So I went to confinement. They moved me to the annex. Got to the annex. My prison mama, she had to connect with the plug with the officers. So I was all in. I was all in. Pieces of cigarettes for $4, sometimes $7, $15 for a whole, and $100 for a pack of $1 cigarettes. Them cigarettes cost $1 in the corner store, but in prison they selling them for $150, $200 a pack.
Dang. Okay, that's good. It's gonna be good. Okay, so you said you outspoken. With you being outspoken, did that cause you to get in a lot of fights and a lot of trouble and a lot of disputes with people?
I got into arguments, but in prison with the females, I'm from the streets. I'm from the Poker Beans. I'm from Miami, the Poker Bean Projects. All that, go in the bathroom, meet me in the bathroom, I ain't doing all that. My motive in prison was, wherever you got slick with me at, that's where I handled you at. If you ain't want to fight out in the open, because I ain't scared to get maced. And now they got tasers and all that now, and body cams in there now. I wasn't scared to get maced. I'm going to dance in mace, and then I'm going to go ahead and go to confinement. But I had two fights. But one fight led me to confinement, because the first fight I had, I didn't go to confinement. The girl disrespected me in the bathroom, and that's what we fought at. But the fight that it was my first fight. It was my first, real fight that I went to confinement for. It was Christmas 2019. I had a visit the next day. The children of inmates visit. That's when the children of inmates, they come to Miami, bring your kids down to the prison, and y'all in bonding, interacting. The girl, she just kept coming to my door, to my dorm door, cussing my prison daddy out. And she walked past me and she said something slick. We went to fighting and we got sprayed. And I guess the officer thought, like, because, I was sprayed, that it was going to be over. But I was already used to mace because I used to work at the juvenile detention center way before the crimes, the boosting and all that. So mace don't bother me. Okay. So I went back to finish fighting the girl, and I was cut. I was cut. I could admit that I left prison. I left prison with a scratch.
They be cut like that in the women's prison. Okay.
Yeah, they do. Like not all the time, but you got some that will that you know that don't got hope that they ain't going home, because I don't seen people with 30 years go back out to court and God has blessed them. I have seen people that was on death row and you know some of them get natural life, or I don't seen it all in prison.
And where she cut you at?
Right here. You can't really see it.
She went for the face, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So listen, you said this is a woman's prison. So how you have a prison daddy in there if it's a woman's prison?
The dykes, the studs.
Okay. And how does that happen? How does somebody become your prison mom or your prison daddy? How does that happen?
Well, I had so many prison daddies, but it's one prison daddy that never forgot about me, no matter what compound I bounced to, one compound she bounced to. And one day we met at FWRC. We was just talking and everything. And me, I got a good spirit. I got a good heart. I know that when I'm distanced away from somebody, I leave a mark. And they be like, dang, where Kiani at? Dang, I miss Kiani and stuff. So every time I would get there would be new shipments at the main unit, the girls would come. Do y'all know a girl named Kiani? If so, can you tell her that Mook said he loved her? Her prison daddy said he loved her. And I came back to the annex. Boom, we rekindled our relationship. Then I got a prison mama. I had several prison mamas. One of my prison moms, she's out. No, both of them is out. One of them did 13 years straight to the door. And the other one did 17 years, but different sets.
And okay. So a prison mama and a prison daddy, is it to the point where they're supposed to give you stuff? Is that how that works? Like do they do everything to make you happy? Is that the point of it? Or how does that work? Or like, do they give you commissary and hygiene, everything you need?
Yes, my prison family did not play about me. They did not play about me. They cook for me every day, washed my clothes. They treated me like they real child. Went to the store for me. Christmas came, they balled out for me. Birthdays, they balled out for me.
Okay. And listen, with statistics show, I want to ask you though, with all the women locked up in the women's prison, is it true that the majority of the women locked up in the women's prison are locked up because of a man?
In some scenarios, yeah. Majority, yeah.
Majority is locked up. And that's what I know. And speaking of Lowell, because I interviewed two people so far. One interview I took down because the footage wasn't right. But speaking of Lowell, when it comes to white inmates and black inmates, is there some kind of separation, or do you guys all mingle?
Well, we all mingle, but you got some white girls. They all in. They black line. They is all in, and they bout their money. You got some that come in there with, I tell you no lie, they come in there with no teeth. They get their dentures from the dental plan. They put on a cover girl. They use conditioner in these watermelon candies, and they make Jolly Gel to put in their hair. They wet the color pencils. Add they makeup, the colors, the glitter from the cards that people family send them. They get their toes done with color pencils and wax. And they be a whole new girl. It's like they be a superstar in there. Right, you be like, oh my God, this girl just ain't had teeth in her mouth. They all of them got nice shapes. Since I've been in prison, that's the most that I ever seen was the white girls with the most nice body. On the free world, I didn't see that. Right. I didn't see that in the free world.
Okay. And listen, and everybody knows, hey, hit that like and subscribe button, man. Hit that. We live. We won Florida Prison Talk with my girl Kiani, coming out of the Lowell Correctional Institution. Answer this question. When it comes to the women's prison, this is my biggest thing I like to speak about when it comes to these interviews. And I'm pretty sure you know what I'm about to ask you about. I want to ask you about the corruption, the guards and the inmates. Is that regular shit?
I mean, it get crazy in there. It get
saying.
crazy. Like, when I was on the main unit, we walking. They call AM work call. We walking. The guard say something to this girl, and the girl like, Lottie, man, get your people. And next thing you know, the officer slam him. I mean, because the girl is a stud that he talked that, you know, he messing with. AM work call. They like for us to get where we going, and they want the yard clear so they could open the yard. And at the main unit, there's no cameras. There's no cameras around the buildings. There's no cameras like that. It's only cameras inside medical. It's no cameras inside education. And none of the prisons that I've been to, there's no cameras inside education. There's no cameras inside property. In the main unit, there's hills, big hills. And we come inside a big fence to go to yard. So if an officer want to beat you, rape you, do whatever, they could take you behind a building and do whatever they want to do. You got some officers, when we psych out, it was this officer, he would be like, oh, if you come back, I'ma spray you. And if they spray you, they say you declared the psych and they spray you, you gonna go psych. After the people just declared you that you couldn't go psych. I don't seen it all. I was in confinement when the lady came through and her face was messed up, teeth out, came through her lip after they had done slammed her, all because they told her to tuck in her shirt. No, they asked her, was she pregnant on the main unit? I was in confinement, trying to get stuck back on the annex. Ain't want to be at the main unit. On the annex, I mean, they slam people. The officers talk to you any kind of way. I done got into it with an officer several times. I know that you got to give respect order to get it, but with them sometimes in there, you really got to disrespect them. You got to let them know, like, basically, at the end of the day, I'm still a human being. Don't talk to me like that, because you can be where I'm at one day.
That's right.
And it's like, when I would argue with the officers, I tell them straight up with no ifs, ands, buts about it. Didn't care if I went to confinement. Talk to me like that when I'm on the streets. That's what I tell them. Talk to me like that when I'm on the streets. Don't talk to me like that while I'm in here. Because at the end of the day, you got the upper hand. And they'll be like, Brown, that's a spoken threat. Call it whatever you want to call it. And I'll go to jail. I was at the point in prison that I did not care about going to confinement, because I already passed the system where I had to do my fingerprints to go to jail. I'm already in prison. So when they would be like, "Oh, turn around, you going to jail?" I don't care. I've been to jail before, not knowing that that's what they call a confinement.
Right. Okay, how about the sexual relationship between guards and inmates? You seen any of that?
Several times. I remember I was on the annex and I'm in the kitchen. I don't even work in the kitchen. I'm unauthorized. I don't work in the kitchen. But it was at a point that you would be able to volunteer to go work in the kitchen. If anybody worked in the kitchen in prison, they stole out the kitchen. That's where you make the most money at, is in the kitchen. You neck to neck with the drug dealers on the compound when it comes to working in the kitchen. Okay. And I'm unauthorized. I come in the kitchen and I need to go inside the storage where they keep the milk at. I walk in there and I see the officer and the girl hunching. So I tell her, I'm like, "Oh, my bad." She like, "Close the door." I said, "Okay." So when they was done, she came out. I said, "Oh, I know I'm finna take whatever I want to take out the kitchen." So she like, yeah. So from that day forward, I milked the kitchen all day, all week, and I didn't even much work inside the kitchen.
Right. Got they ass. So,
Mm-hmm.
how about you though? Ever engaged in any relationships with the guards?
I flirted with the woman officers just to see they vibe and stuff. I got reactions out of a couple of them, but the man officers, no ma'am. Fingernails be dirty. They just lames up there. They lames.
Got you. And back it up a little bit. We spoke on the prison moms and the prison dads, and you said they buy you stuff to look out for you. With that being said, what's required of you?
Nothing. They just called me their prison daughter. They called me their baby. I had a prison grandma. My prison grandma.
Rollins?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, yes, sir.
You was locked up with her?
Okay. Yes. She Miss Julia, do not play the radio. All that with she don't even play with the officers. She hates stupidity. She don't call confinement jail. She call it the dungeon. She don't have no family members. That's a big major thing with me. She have a child, but they don't have no relationship. She in there alone. But everybody that comes through prison that's done time, everybody loves Miss Julia. Out of everybody who had the corona, being that she's old, she's been down since 1972. So I want to say that's probably 53 years. She's the only one that did not have the corona. All us had the corona.
Oh, you had it too when you was in there?
Mm-hmm. We got it from the kitchen staff. To me, I feel like I've been had it since March, but they didn't come test us till July. But the reason why I say that is because the kitchen staff, she came to work and she came with a mask on her face. And I said, "What's wrong with you?" She was like, "Nothing." She was like, her husband was sick. She was crying and all that. And then like the next week, she was out of work. She didn't come back. We haven't seen her ever since. And then they started testing us. They started putting the dorms on quarantine. Then they came and tested us in July. The week that they tested us, a week before that, I didn't have no smell, no taste. The week that they tested us, I was back smelling and tasting.
Dang. Okay. Listen, you said that you went to the kitchen unauthorized. That's the kitchen workers go to. What kind of trades or work did you do while you was in prison? Anything you can use out?
I was in school for GED.
Okay.
Then I had got out because I had went PREA on a teacher.
You went PREA?
Yeah.
What's that?
Went PREA. PREA is when you tell them that you feel like you being sexually harassed by the teacher. It's PREA stands for Prison Rape Elimination Act.
Okay.
And my teacher, he was a Jamaican man. He was very strict on education. But the only thing that I didn't like with him is every day he wanted me to sit at the desk with him. So that's what made me go PREA on him. When I went PREA on him, they didn't believe it because he been working there for 15 years and I was the first girl to go PREA on him. So they didn't take that serious. They didn't believe it or none of that. So they let me out. When they let me out, I did something in medical. I got put on probation and studied going to confinement. They put me on probation at my disciplinary hearing. And I violated my probation because this officer threw his cup at me. When he threw his cup at me, I pulled the rubber band off my hand and I like pointed at him and I was like, "I should pop your ass for throwing that cup at me." And when I said that, he popped the can of mace and he blew me away.
Damn. How the fuck they get away with this shit, man?
They was I was pending CM, but another sergeant wrote a statement for me and said that that's not how that went, that he threw the cup at me, and that's how I got off of CM and I got stuck back on the annex.
And why the hell would he throw a cup at you for?
He got T-Rex or something like that.
Oh, you got Tourette's. Okay.
Yeah, T-Rex.
Man, that got to be crazy. A motherfucking guard with Tourette's. Sheesh. Okay.
He don't play. He's something else.
So you said that you didn't mind going to confinement, and the people that's watching, everybody know confinement is solitary confinement. Confinement didn't have an effect on you mentally? Like you didn't break down confinement?
No, because in the county, I will always go to confinement. In Miami-Dade County Jail, I will always go to confinement for keep separates. Like if I got into a fight, it was always me that have to go to confinement. Everybody else get moved around to a different cell. But me, I would have to go to confinement. The only difference between the county and prison confinement is at the county jail, they get a TV inside their confinement room. You in a room by yourself, you get your commissary, and you get all your commissary. In prison, you only allowed to order 5 items on AC confinement. That's when you don't know if you're gonna go DC, if you're gonna go and have to do time, which is in Tango, and then there's Death Row and there's CM. CM is closed management, people that got to be behind the door 9 months or 12 months or just back there acting a fool.
Right. Okay, so listen, with the violence when it comes to inmate on inmate, what are the big disputes over? What do people fight the most over in the women's prison?
They girlfriends.
I knew it. They girlfriends. Okay, and do any of these girls walk out in open like holding hands? Do the guards know who's together? They just can't say nothing. Are these girls open with it?
I was gay. I'm bisexual. I had a girlfriend in prison. Yes, they do. Like, once you make it known to them that is your girlfriend, it becomes an issue. It becomes a problem, because you got some officers that would mess with the studs. The man officers would mess with the studs because they low-key like the girls. Or you got some female officers that will mess with the girls because they low-key like the studs. It become an issue. It become a problem.
Okay. And when you had your relationship in prison, did you get, being that those are the same sex, did you get any disputes over your girlfriend?
No, the only issue that I had was that, like, I liked this girl. So anywhere this girl was at, my girlfriend, she wasn't having it.
I know that's right. And let's flip it a little bit. Let's speak about support and visits. How was your family as far as support goes and money on your books and coming to visit you? Were they there for you? Your friends too?
My mom, my friends, my family, they was there for me. Even my baby daddy, they was there. I got money every week. I got money. Did I spend my money? I didn't spend my money like that. I didn't have to, because I'm a hustler. I'm a jack of all trades. And when you in prison, you can't be waiting for nobody to put money in your account. Waiting is not an option for me. Patience, I got patience, but to be waiting on somebody to do something for me when I know that I can do whatever you need to be done for yourself, only you can do it. So I stole out the kitchen. I cleaned up the bathroom in the dorms. So I was able to get caustics. I was the caustics queen. I mean, Gatorade bottles full of bleach, Gatorade bottles full of Mr. Clean. And I done been through the stage of having to wash people's clothes. I done been through the stage of having to sell a spot. It would be so bad because you interviewed my prison auntie.
Who?
Kendra Brown.
Oh, okay. Shout out to Kendra. Okay.
Me and Kendra, like, we had money on our tag. We could go and we could swipe our tag if we wanted to. We choose not to. Me and Kendra would get up 2:00 in the morning. We would put our canteen bag by the door. When we would put our canteen bag by the door, that means that's our spot for today. That means ain't nobody coming in the line before us or none of that. So people would buy our spot. They be like, ooh. One day I think it was 2 days before Thanksgiving. And the lady was like, hurry up and get up so we could put our bag down before Kendra and Kiani get up. But we was already up. We already had our spot, our stuff already right there. So I go and I tell Kendra, I'm like, Kendra, the lady said that they got to hurry up and put their stuff up. We would sell our spots for $25, $30, $40, just for them to make it to the canteen store. Because we was like this with the canteen operator.
Okay. Got you. Okay. And how old you was when you went to prison?
I was 25 years old.
Okay. And out of those 5 years, how many years did you do?
I did 4 years and 7 months.
Wow, that's a long time. So when you first got there, did you see light at the end of the tunnel, or was you like, man, this 5 years seemed like forever? Did the time fly for you?
My time, it was going slow. It was going slow in the inside of prison, but on the outside, it was going fast because my baby, every year she turned it. I knew that I was close to coming home every time her birthday came. I'm like, okay, it's 4 years. She 1 year old. I gotta wait till she turned 4. I gotta wait till she turned 4. I gotta wait till she turned 4.
Okay. And I want you to speak to some of these viewers. I mean, might be a teenage girl watching. You say you used to boost, you got into it over your baby daddy. What would you tell that girl that's watching right now about jail and about mistakes? Speak to her.
The mistake that I made, it was a lesson learned. Do not put yourself in situations that will lead you to the wrong things. I was not thinking at the moment. I was being selfish to my kids. I blanked out. Love can put you in a situation that will make you do some crazy things. But when somebody telling you something, they're not telling you wrong. Let your warning be your lesson. Do not ignore that first voice. If your first mind tell you to do something, they tell you to let that person go, let them go. Let them go. Do not meet up, go meet nobody at no hotel, no house, or do none of that. You don't know what you would do in the midst until you is put in that position. And when you could avoid confrontation, avoid it. Do not let nobody take you out your comfort zone. Prison is not nowhere that no young girl want to be. I don't care what you going through. Prison is not a place that anybody would want to be. I don't wish it on nobody. I don't want nobody telling me when to wake up, what clothes I got to wear, or my uniform too tight, or my pants too big, or this shirt don't match. And it's not worth it. It's not.
Okay, and since you're home now, I want you to talk to the viewers again about the adjustment back to the civilian world. How has your adjustment been as far as the temptation to want to do the things you want to do? Maybe things are not moving as fast as you expect. So has your mind ever wondered, since you've been like, man, this people ain't higher, I need to go ahead and do something? Speak about that, the temptation.
When I came home, I was putting in job applications. Nobody was calling me or none of that. I came home January 13th. Nobody was calling me. Nobody was calling the phone. And it's like, before I went to prison, I never had a problem with getting a job. Never. And it's like now that here I come, I'm out of prison, I gotta register. Now it was an issue. And I kept telling my cousin, my friends, my baby daddy, I need a job. Come get me, come take me to the mall. But my friend, she kept pushing. She would tell my other friends, do not go and pick Kiani up. Don't go and pick her up. No, y'all go and pick her up, I'm gonna fight. Like, she's very overprotective of me. She rode the whole 5 years. She stayed solid through it all. She did my time with me. And I just kept, I did an interview. I was so happy about the interview. I gave them my social. I did the tax form and everything. I was happy to get paid those $15 an hour. And I was waiting for them to tell me to come pick up the equipment, because it was going to be working for home customer service. And the lady told me that I couldn't be hired because of my background. And I was like, why? Like, if I'm at home, if I'm working at home, why wouldn't I be able to get hired? She was like, oh, because of your background and all that. So I'm like, well, it's just only attempted murder. She was like, yeah, but it's attempted murder with a dangerous act, intent to kill. That's the worst attempted murder. So I said, okay. I was discouraged. I was sad. I felt like everything that I tried to do, like it just wasn't gonna work. So I cried, and I prayed, and I talked it to God. And every morning I would listen to Tasha Cobb, Move Out the Way. And I went to this job, and I told the man, I said, you said no convicted felons. I said, but I'm a convicted felon. I done been through things. I told him my story. I told him where I'm at, what position I'm in right now, what I'm facing, my challenges, what my goals and everything, and I got hired. I just went to an interview today, another interview today, and got my second interview. You know, some jobs be like, we'll call you for a second interview. Right. I got the date, and I'm trusting God. I'm having faith. And when I let go of the people that was a burning in my past, it was like God is moving for me. He just moving. He answering the prayers that I probably done thought about, but have not even prayed on them yet.
Gotcha. And how was your faith when you was in prison?
My faith was when I got sentenced, and this just the honest truth. When I got sentenced, I just couldn't believe it, because I had read my daily bread, and it said whatever in that passage, it had said whatever the devil had against you, God said no. So I was just praying, meditating, fasting on it and everything. Like, I'm finna get out. Like, God said, if I ask, I shall receive it. If I knock, it's gonna be answered. And when they said 5 years, 60 months, and I was signing and swabbing, it didn't hit me in a prison. It didn't hit me in a courtroom. When I got in the room, because I was in confinement when I got sentenced. Okay. When I got in the room, the officer was like, Brown, you okay? And I was like, how I'm gonna be okay with doing 5 years, my baby only 2 months? Like, I was shocked. I threw the Bible out. I had lost all faith in God. I lost my faith. It was in nothing. Every time my mama would talk about God on the phone, I would hang up. Like, cause I felt like God failed me. I at that moment, I felt like God failed me. When I got to prison, I cried in my cell. I cried almost every day. I cried. Being the fact that when I was home, I was a mother to my kids. My kids had everything. I was a booster, so they had everything. So it was like, now my kids finna go into the stage of not always having it, but my mom was gonna make sure that they were straight and everything. But they just wasn't gonna be copping the new Jordans every week, all the True Religion, the Burberry, the Tommy. It wasn't none of that. Gotcha. My kids, they struggled because they found out what it felt like to have to repeat clothes. With me, they never had to repeat clothes. I wouldn't even wash their clothes. It would go in the bag to get shipped off to Haiti.
Gotcha. I think it's breaking up. You hear me?
Yeah.
All right. This last question as we close, I'm gonna ask you. And that's what's confusing me, because I would think after doing that amount of 5 years that your counselor in prison or something will have a plan for you for job placement. There was no job placement for you that the Department of Corrections provided. Like, they didn't say, okay, Kiani, when you get out, you're gonna go to this building and see Miss Bonnie. She should be able to help you out with a job. They didn't have none of that?
No, what they did was they gave me a parole officer. And I was like, after I signed 5 years, why a person got to tell me what time to come in the house, or I got to pay for this and I got to pay for that. So my parole officer, when I was on parole, he was a good officer. He was an excellent officer. He helped me with my job. He pushed forward. He pushed hard. He was a good officer.
That's what's up. Hey, I appreciate you for this interview. This is part 1. We're going to be doing part 2 probably in the next 2 days. Part 2 is going to be about something different that I have in mind. I appreciate everybody tuning in to Florida Prison Talk. I appreciate this story. The story was touching, just like your girl Kendra. That story was touching. I know the subscribers, they're going to be really happy about this one. Do you have anything you want to say before we close part 1? Any shout outs?
I want y'all to see this stuff that was made. The girls are very talented. It's a shower bag with my name on it. A mirror. They be selling these for like $5. A mirror. And I encourage y'all to do nothing that will have y'all away from y'all kids. Trust God more. He will remove and reveal anything that is not of him. Bye.
Easy way on Florida Prison Talk. Kiani, be out of here.